Alright, welcome back to King of Games. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a normal, just doubles battle with the team that I used to get to Masterball. I actually took a hiatus. I didn't play any of Series 8, which is a little unfortunate. Looking back now, I kind of wish I could have played with some of the restricteds. But I dropped all the way down to beginner tier, so I had to work my way all the way back up. Took a little bit. I changed teams halfway through. So this is the team that I used to get to Masterball. I'm just going to play a couple quick matches with them, and then I'm going to go over the team breakdown, why I picked each one, what they all do. At the end, I'm going to change that up, because I realized that people probably didn't want to listen to me talk about a team. They just wanted to see me play with it. So I'm just going to play with it, and I'll talk about it at the end for anyone who wants to stick around. Alright, so searching for an opponent. I'm hoping that this goes well. I recorded a previous video and my audio was completely messed up. The game audio was too loud. I couldn't hear myself talk in the video, which, depending on your opinion, could be bad, could be good, but I figured I'd turn the video down, or turn the video game audio down, and try to record it again where I could actually hear myself. If you hear like clicking in the background and like stomping, that is my two dogs. They are just walking around being brats because I'm not giving them enough attention. Alright, opposing trainers found. Around the same rank as us, so this should be interesting. Alright, so they have a Galarian Moltres, a Kartana, a Thundurus, an Urshifu. So this looks like it is my Hail team setup, and they don't have a weather of their own, it doesn't look like. But that Thundurus kind of worries me, because that could be Eerie Impulse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead Arctovision Zapdos with Ninetales in the back, and then, or no, I'm going to lead Ninetales Zapdos with Arctovision in the back, and we will go. This might be a Turtonator game. Yeah. Screw it, I'm gonna bring Turtonator into this game. Might be a mistake, but I don't know. I didn't actually bring Turtonator a lot going up the ladder, so it's interesting that I'm bringing it already. Alright, good luck Izzo, if you see this, probably not, but oh well. Okay, so probably going to be Moltres Comfy. No, Kartana and Urshifu. So that's interesting, and it's the water Urshifu. So Ninetales actually has the same speed stat as Kartana, I believe. Zapdos is slower, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just max flare and switch into Turtonator. I think he's probably going to steal. He might steal strike into the Ninetales slot. And while I'd love to have Aurora Veil up, I think that's not worth it. I don't want to lose it this early. And I would like to be able to reset Hail for Arctovision in the late game. So he is going to max. Which one's he going to max? Probably Kartana, if I'm guessing. If I had to guess, I'd say he's maxing Kartana here. No, he's maxing the Urshifu. That's interesting. I think Urshifu gets Aerial Ace, so it could be increasing speed right now. Yeah, that's another thing, is I couldn't really protect in front of it. I would love to be able to protect the Ninetales and then switch out, but because of Urshifu, I can't do that, because it goes through protect. Alright. So we already got our Zapdos maxed up. Yeah, so he is going to do a steel attack into the Ninetales slot, which Turtonator takes pretty well. G-Max Rapid Flow into the Zapdos, which we do take that pretty well. It is faster than us, which is weird. We're timid. Okay, well there goes Kartana, so that's a huge problem gone. I don't know why the sun would help them survive that, but that does put up the sun, so their water type move will get weaker. That's another big plus. Okay, so they're gonna bring out Incineroar. So that's gonna lower our attack, which we don't really care about at all. Probably going to... Oh crap. So that kind of gives away that strategy, but I think we're gonna go ahead and just max Lightning into the Urshifu, and we're gonna try to get this Shell Smash off. They're probably gonna fake out into it. Yeah, they're gonna fake out into it. Okay. Turtonator doesn't really care. G-Max Rapid Flow in the sun this time. We should hopefully survive it. And we do. Nice job, Zapdos. Alright, and that is a KO. That is beautiful. Alright, Zapdos is carrying this game. One of the reasons I chose Zapdos over Thundurus is because Zapdos has better bulk. And it has access. I don't know if Thundurus has access to Heat Wave, but the better bulk saved us here, as you can tell. So we are at a 4-2 game, and we have Arctovish in the back. So there's the Thundurus there. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to just max Lightning into the Thundurus, and we are going to try and get this Shell Smash off again. Neither one really threatens the Turtonator, so Turtonator, strangely, could actually do something this game, I hope. That'd be really fun. An Electro Web, which not Thundurus, Zapdos easily survives that. They have Thundurus. So do we still outspeed their Incineroar? We do. Alright, so max Lightning into Thundurus. That is not a KO. Huh. Alright, well there goes our Zapdos, but, oh, this is exciting. We actually have our Turtonator getting its Shell Smash off. Oh my god, I never did this on my client. This is so exciting. Oh man, I love Turtonator. There's no strategic reason it should be on this team. It's just one of my favorites from Gen 7, and I saw that it got, Shell Smash. So this is very exciting. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the Arctovish. We don't actually want to attack with it this turn. What we're going to do is it's just going to kind of be a distraction so that Turtonator can get off its moves. But Turtonator honestly has really good defense. And this speed, the speed stat I've got it at is to outrun Nagandel, which is faster than Thundurus. So unless this is Prankster Thundurus, then Turtonator, No, that's not true, because it got hit by Electro Web, so it should be slower than Thundurus. I take that back. But, Turtonator is EV'd to outrun Nagandel after a Shell Smash. Alright, here comes another Electro Web. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's Defiant or if it's Prankster. My money is on Prankster, but so that's gonna lower our speed again, and that's the shame. Okay. Well, we got the Shell Smash off. It didn't actually do anything, unfortunately, but we got the Shell Smash off, so that was fun. And then Ninetales and Arctovish should be able to clean up here. Ninetales will be slightly slower than Thundurus, but we're not actually that worried about it. So we're gonna, so we are going to Vicious Rend into the Incineroar slot, and we are just gonna Blizzard. So this is one of the fun things about, this is one of the good things about saving Ninetales for the end. I know it's really tempting to try and panic and get that Aurora Veil up, but it can be much more important to save it till the end with this team to protect Arctovish and get Arctovish the hail that it needs for a late game attack, which they are actually, so they are definitely Prankster. That kind of removes all doubt. But Ninetales should hopefully be able to finish this off. If not, then Arctovish should still be pretty good here. Now that Thundurus is off the board, Arctovish doesn't really feel threatened, and it still outspeeds Incineroar, so that's an easy win. Alright, so you kind of got to see everything that the Hail mode kind of offers. There's two modes, there's the Registeel mode and there's the Hail mode. The Registeel mode is really just for Trick Room and for Metagross and Regigigas. But the Hail mode, you kind of saw, it is really versatile. It kind of plays to whatever the opponent's got. So if they would have led the Comfy Moltres there, I could have protected my Ninetales and done a Max Weather Ball, which is a Hailstorm, and I could have done a lot of damage to Moltres. But, pretty interesting team there. Maxing the Urshifu, I think they kind of underestimated Zapdos' bulk there. Zapdos is actually pretty bulky. It's not gonna like tank like +3 attacks or +2 attacks, but it can take a fair number of neutral strikes. So they really overestimated or underestimated Zapdos' bulk, and they didn't realize I could set the sun for myself. Alright, speaking of sun, so this is an interesting team. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lead Arctovish. No, I'm going to lead Zapdos, Spectrier with Ninetales and So it's just saying that Registeel is here for the Trick Room matchups, but you can see here they have a Sun team with a Trick Room option, which is tough to prepare for. So I think I'm going to bet all in that they're not going to Trick Room option here. I think they're going to try and let their Sun dominate my my Hail team. But if they do try to go for Trick Room, then I still have my Spectre leading. Okay, so it's Urshifu. Alright, so that's not a great matchup for us. And that's the Dark Urshifu. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to... That means they're probably not doing the Trick Room option. And I don't really have a great switch in for Dark Urshifu. Usually Ninetales' Dazzling Gleam takes care of that, but because I couldn't lead it because they had a Sun team, they kind of put me in a tough situation here. But I think what I want to do here is I want to Bulldoze and I guess I want to max Lightning into the Urshifu slot. So they are going to max, which I think, yeah, that's going to be the Regieleki because you can't get Urshifu in any other ball but Pokeball. So this might be kind of an instant loss for us. We don't have a great matchup against Regieleki. If I do make a change to the team, it's probably going to be a replace Turtonator, unfortunately, with a Lightning Rod Pokemon. Or just a ground type Pokemon that can just deal with the lightning attacks. One of the two. Which Mamoswine's a decent option for that, but I don't want to be too weak to fighting. So I don't want to get too many ice types. They're probably going to target the Spectrier here if I had to guess. So let's see what they do. Sucker Punch. Ooh, that's not good. And a critical hit, but it would have taken a Scar Focus Sash, critical hit or not. Spectre's defense is not great. Into the Zapdos. Ooh, that hurts. But they do set up the electric terrain for my own Max Lightning. Okay. So that's at least Urshifu. Oh crap, that's not Urshifu off the board. How bulky is that thing? That's really surprising. Okay. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna max guard and we're gonna bulldoze again. Now they might Sucker Punch, but I think they're gonna target the... Nope, I was wrong. Okay. So that's a move we had to make. Otherwise we'd lose, and I think they called it, so I think we lose. Alright. So here's what I think we do. I think we bring in the Arctovish, and we are going to Fishious Rend into Regieleki and switch out into Ninetales. Kind of a risky move, because Urshifu isn't off the board. But with the Bulldoze, we should outspeed Regieleki. This Arctovish is actually EV'd to outrun Modest Regieleki. So even if it's timid, with the Bulldoze, we should be able to outrun it in the Hail. My only concern is if they switch out their Urshifu into Torkoal. Okay. And, ooh, that's really, really bad. Okay, so that's not on a lose. Because Arctovish is not going to take this. Oh, they actually target into the Ninetales slot. That's interesting. And then close combat. Arctovish is not going to take that. Ugh. Yeah, this is a rough game. This is a rough matchup. I'm not sure what I would have led here. It's really just not a great matchup for me at all. But you can see how dangerous Regieleki can be if it maxes. I think what I should have done is just led my Registeel team and kind of just tanked the electric move down turn 1. I think that was really my only out here, and I did not take it. Okay, there's not really a whole lot we can do. Regieleki's definitely going to take us out here. Oh, they switch out Regieleki. That's interesting. Into Torkoal. So it's going to bring the Drought back. But this is a resisted hit by Torkoal, so it's not going to do a whole lot of damage. Do get the burn on the Porygon, but there's no way that Zapdos is going to bring this back all on its own. Zapdos can actually surprisingly survive an eruption at max HP, but not when it's at half health. So, just really well played by my opponent. Kind of knew that his son would kind of force me to play really defensive, and he did a really good job. It paid off for him. So we'll do one more game here. Alright, opposing trainer's been found. Another really high one. That's interesting. Maybe they're all trying to get to the top. So this is 100% Registeel Spectrier with... I'm trying to think who to have put in the back here. Ninetales, and then probably I think probably Zapdos. So I do get to show off the Registeel core here for this game. This guy's got a really good team. My biggest concern is if he leads his own Spectre and Metagross, because then it kind of puts us in a sticky situation of, do we Bulldoze, do we Will-O-Wisp, what do we do? So yeah, let's see how this goes. One thing to note is that we are timid max speed on Spectre, so it wouldn't be a guaranteed we go second. It is going to be a speed tie situation, and that could spell some issues for us, but we'll have to see. Okay, double Dusk Ball, and it is indeed Tyranitar, so that's interesting. Okay. So I think we have to max Steel Spike here, and I don't want to because it powers up their Tyranitar. We might have to Bulldoze. I guess we'll go ahead and target the Tyranitar slot in case they get aggressive. But this could be very bad for us because Tyranitar, it's not really too much of a threat to Registeel, but they could probably target around the Registeel, and that would cause some issues for us. So they are going to max their Tyranitar, which tells me that's probably weakness policy. Ugh. And they're probably calling our bluff here. Maybe I should... No, if I was really going to be aggressive, I would have tried to Will-O-Wisp that slot. But... I don't know. The good news is that they're getting their max on the board really quickly. They may have thought that Spectre was the threat. A lot of teams do that, which is what I like so much about this lead. Normally you see Registeel in a sort of defensive position with leftovers, and you see Spectre being the max option that kind of piles up KOs. But my team is not like that, and they do follow me, so that is potentially good, maybe? Let's see if they're weakness policy. Alright, so we get our weakness policy off, which, no, they're not weakness policy, because I think they would have, yeah, so they're not weakness policy, that's great for us. Okay. There goes Indeedee off the board. I'm expecting a max darkness into the Spectre slot. That would be my guess. Yeah, max darkness into Spectre. Yeah, and we hold on, sort of. We survive because of the Focus Sash, but we're obviously going down because of the Sandstorm. So that puts us in a interesting situation here. So I think we go ahead and bring in our Ninetales, and depending on what they go with, we either Dazzling Gleam or set up our Aurora Veil. So we get rid of their Sandstorm. Okay, they're gonna go with Porygon. So I don't understand why their special attack rises. Oh, maybe because I've already got a defense boost, that might be why. Because I know I gave this thing special defense investment, yeah. I think it's, I thought it always went by base, like their, either way, okay. So what I think we do here is we will go ahead and Steel Spike into the Porygon slot, and we will set up our Aurora Veil. So they're not setting up Trick Room. I thought for sure they would set up Trick Room this turn. So we get our Aurora Veil up, which is nice. And we Steel Spike into the Tyranitar slot, which is almost enough for a KO. That is really big. They may be going for a Rockfall here, which would be interesting. Yeah, they are going for Rockfall, but we already have our Aurora Veil up, which is what we really cared about. And Ninetales actually survives. Wow, way to go, Ninetales. Okay. So what do we do here? I think what we do is we will Steel Spike into the Porygon slot again and Dazzling Gleam. I don't know if Dazzling Gleam is... It probably won't do enough. This Ninetales is max HP, not max special attack. But it should... I don't know. I'm Dazzling just in case they ally switch, and they do not ally switch. Okay. So Tri-Attack into the Ninetales. Bye, Ninetales. But here comes our Steel Spike to take out their Tyranitar. Oh no, crap. We went into their Porygon slot. Oh well. But we know they're not setting up Trick Room, which is the big thing. So now we are at +2 attack, +3 defense. So we are in our unkillable mode, and you can see just how bulky Registeel can get. Okay, so now we have our Registeel in full monster mode and our Zapdos with safety goggles, so it will not be taking sandstorm damage. So what's really key here is that we will outspeed both their Pokemon, I think. And we will be able to take, I think, anything in the back. Our biggest problem would be... Alright, so what we're going to do here is we are going to Iron Head the Tyranitar slot, and we are going to Thunderbolt the Porygon slot. Yeah, that'll work. So what's important about targeting that way is exactly like this. If they were going to attack with Porygon, then Zapdos would outspeed Porygon. If they were going to a Trick Room, then it wouldn't really matter. But it was important that we targeted the Porygon slot with Zapdos, because I wasn't sure if Registeel outspeeds it or not. So now we are in a situation where we have our fully boosted Registeel and our Zapdos with safety goggles against an Urshifu, which should be pretty good for us. So we can just Iron... yeah, I think we want to Hammer Arm and Thunderbolt. Which, unless it's Scarf, we should outspeed. I don't think... Okay, yeah. So, yeah, pretty good games. We got to show off our Hail mode, we got to show off our Registeel mode, and we ended up losing a game, which kind of showed kind of the weakness of this team in Regieleki, and the other big weakness is Colossal. Not the Surf mode, but the Aqua Jet. Just because we don't really have anything to redirect. So, that kind of puts us in a tough situation. I'll go ahead and go through the team now. So we have Ninetales with Light Clay and a Dream Ball, which I really like. Max HP, max speed with one extra point for EVs in special attack with Snow Warning. Protect, Aurora Veil, Blizzard, and Dazzling Gleam. This is pretty typical except for Dazzling Gleam over Moonblast. And the reason I chose Dazzling Gleam is just like that last battle against Tyranitar. There's a lot of ally switchers, which I personally refuse to ever use ally switch because I hate it and I hate everything about it. But there are a lot of ally switchers out there, and sometimes if you're paired up against like a Tyranitar or a Urshifu, then you kind of have to predict with Moonblast. But with Dazzling Gleam, you can just kind of click it. You can see there with the Sandstorm up, Tyranitar lived that, but if it was outside of Sandstorm, and if it was outside of Sandstorm, then it would have been a KO. And if it wasn't max, then it absolutely would have been a KO. The next is Arctovish, which Arctovish is my favorite fossil from Gen 8. I really love it. I used it on my playthrough, but I didn't actually get it to a high enough level to learn Fish's Rend, so I wasn't aware how good this move was. But we got Arctovish with a Life Orb, and it's got kind of a hodgepodge of EV investments. We got I'm trying to think what it is. It's 220 in speed, it's 76 in special attack, and I think it's 214 in attack. The speed is, like I mentioned in the video, just enough to outrun Masterball in Hail, and the special attack is just enough to one-hit KO the most common Gastrodon set. At least when I built this, it was the most common, with Freeze Dry. So I originally ran a fully physical, but I posted this team on Reddit, and I got some recommendations to go with a special or a mix set. And I think it's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. So we've got Protect, Fish's Rend, Freeze Dry, and Blizzard. Fish's Rend does huge damage to anything that it moves faster than. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite pack the punch that Dracovish does, but it does do a considerable amount of damage. You can see how much it did to the max Regieleki there in the second battle. Didn't quite get the KO, but it took out, like 80% of its health, which is a ton of damage. Freeze Dry, which is great for water types that would normally try to wall Arctovish, especially Gastrodon. And then Blizzard in the Hail is 100% accurate. You can just pair it up with Ninetales. If you don't have a better option, you can just double Blizzard spam and fish for a freeze. The next up, we have Thor the Zapdos. Now this Zapdos actually is from my Fire Red, so it's kind of gone through all the generations, and I just think that's really fun. It's got safety goggles, mostly for the Hail, but as you can see at the end, also very helpful in Sandstorm. Kind of took away their option to kind of try to stall at the end. Max speed, max special attack. Oh, that's why we were getting outsped, because I forgot to give this. I forgot to give this timid. It's serious. So that's a huge oversight that I need to fix. So we got Detect, Thunderbolt, Weather Ball, and Heat Wave. Detect over Protect. It's got less PP, but in doubles you really won't need to use all 8. If you do, then you've got bigger problems. But the big thing about Detect is that with Imprison Pokemon, if they know Protect and they use Imprison, then you can't Protect anymore. But because Zapdos has Detect, it can still Protect either way. Thunderbolt, just great stab option. Usually go with Thunder if you're a Rain team, but other than that, Thunderbolt's the way to go. Weather Ball is just really, really fun to throw on Zapdos for 2 reasons. One is in the Hail, normally Zapdos is hard-walled by Garchomp, Landorus, and they can kind of just sit there and just eat up Heat Waves. They're not affected by Thunderbolts. So they think that they've got a good wall, but they're both 4 times super effective to Ice. So it's really fun to just kind of max Zapdos in front of them and just throw a max Hailstorm at them because they will not see it coming. Probably not that great for best of 3, but for best of 1s like this, it's very fun. And then Heat Wave, which one thing that's the other really fun thing about Weather Ball is that in the Hail, Zapdos has Electric, Ice, and Fire, so it has all 3 types for the legendary birds. The next one is the easily least brought Pokemon of the team, but it's one of my favorites from Gen 7. I've never really used it before, but I love its design. I'm a big fan of turtle Pokemon and real turtles in general. So we've got White Herb, which restores its stats after they've been lowered. Its EV investment is also kind of weird. It's got a 148 in HP max and special attack, and the rest in speed. That speed, I forgot to give this one Dynamax candies. That's another oversight. But the important thing about the speed EVs is they give it just enough EVs to outrun Nagandale, which is a dragon poison type, which also has beast boost to make it very scary. But Turtonator after a Shell Smash can outspeed it and one-hit KO with Scorching Sands. So it's a nice little small EV kind of trick that can be very useful if you ever run into Nagandale. I have not personally. That was entirely based on theory crafting. I don't know how popular it is. If it's not very popular, I may use it for my next team because I do actually kind of like it. But then it also has Heat Wave, and the only reason I brought it when I was going up the ladder, I never actually tried to get the Shell Smash off like that, but it has Wide Guard, which can be very useful for Ninetales to protect it from rock slides. The second to last Pokemon is the MVP of the team, Registeel, with Weakness Policy. So it's max HP, max attack, and a lot of people use Regirock for a Weakness Policy sweeper with Clear Body, but it didn't really fit my team for two reasons. The first is that Arctivish, which is my speedy sweeper, is weak to Grassy Glide. So it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for my kind of tank to also be weak to the same move. Because then Rillaboom would be a massive problem for this team that we just don't have an answer to. But the other main reason is that it has a great matchup against Metagross, Regigigas, and Glastrier. So Glastrier has Regirock also has a good matchup against Glastrier, but it has a losing matchup to Metagross, and I don't know what his matchup is for Regigigas, but the Metagross matchup is huge for Regirock because Metagross really can't do a whole lot to it, and Registeel can kind of just boost its own defense, just targeting Metagross's allies, and Spectrier, spoiler alert, can Will-O-Wisp it to just make it useless. But Registeel was honestly the carry of my climb. It just does a great job all around. The last one is Spectrier. Spectrier, I actually chose it during my playthrough of Crown Tundra, and I was kind of disappointed because it turned out Glastrier was the better one. But I was thinking of it as an attack Pokemon. As a support Pokemon, it's phenomenal. So we have max HP, max speed, with a Focus Sash. So the Focus Sash, just like you could see there with the Tyranitar at the end, it is very useful for big dark type attacks, but unfortunately it doesn't help out like when it's in the hail or in the sandstorm. But outside of that, the max HP actually lets it survive a fair number of attacks, more special than physical, but it actually gives it decent survivability. It's not going to stick around for 3 or 4 turns taking damage, but it'll probably stick around for at least 2, maybe 3, and it just has a phenomenal support move pool. So Bulldoze does 2 great things. One, it boosts Steely with a Weakness Policy, but it also lowers the speed of everyone around it. And for Registeel, who has Clear Body, it does not get slower, so it can actually allow Registeel to outspeed stuff that it normally wouldn't. And then Will-O-Wisp just shuts down Regigigas, shuts down Glastrier, shuts down Metagross. It's huge for those matchups. Taunt is really good for Trick Room teams, especially next to Registeel, where I can just go ahead and get my first defense boost, Taunt, and then Bulldoze the next turn. And then Shadow Ball just gives us some damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't help against Indeedee, but it does some pretty decent helpful damage. And then it also, if I use it as like a revenge killer, it can get the Grimnay boost, and it can kind of go off on its own too. But for the most part, it's only supporting. Okay, this is the rental code for the team. This is after I made the change to Zapdos, where I accidentally had it on Serious Nature. I made it Timid, so it will outspeed Urshifu now. I think it's a fun team. I've had pretty good success with it. It's got a bunch of my favorite Pokemon. I don't know how popular all these Pokemon are, but I really like them. hopefully you can tell from the videos, you don't always have to run the Hail. You don't always have to lead the Hail. You only always have to lead Ninetales. Sometimes it's good with other weathers to lead Arctovish Zapdos and kind of switch in Ninetales on whichever slot you think does not have the better matchup, or switch out the Pokemon that you would prefer to save to the end. The Registeel Spectre mode is also a lot of fun. A lot of people expect Spectre to beat the threat. Registeel ends up maxing, getting set up with Bulldoze, and they kind of knock out Spectre after it's already done its job. And then Ninetales pairs really well with Registeel, setting up the Aurora Veil after it's been set up, kind of making it even tougher to knock out. You can boost your defense and special defense after that. Just kind of become like a juggernaut that just rolls to the other team. And Arctovish and Zapdos are both really good in the back as non-max options to pair with Registeel once Ninetales goes down. Hopefully you like this team. Hopefully I see it on the ladder and people enjoy it. If not, oh well, I'll keep trying to make some off-meta picks, use some off-meta Pokemon, try to find the best ways to utilize their niches, and pair them well together, potentially with some meta Pokemon. Spectre's kind of meta, Zapdos is kind of meta, but kind of have them as supporting characters to the off-meta picks that I prefer. So I guess if you're interested in that kind of thing, then stay tuned, because this will not be the last Pokemon team that I make with off-meta picks. I'm potentially looking into doing Registeel next, and maybe Regirock, kind of finishing up that trio. And then I could potentially just kind of work through trios, starter trios, legendary trios, that kind of thing, building teams around each one, and just seeing how well they do. I know a lot of the trios have one or two good ones and then one that's not good. In the Reggie's case, that's definitely Registeel's the worst one. Or Regice is the worst one. Not Registeel. Registeel's great. People just don't know it yet. But I'd like to see how that goes, kind of build teams around a better member of the trio, and then kind of make the worst one work. That seems like a fun idea to me. And that could be an idea I could use going forward, or I could try and build a team off some picks that people want to see. I prefer to build teams in game, so it may take a little bit between each one, but if there's any Pokemon you want to see a team built around, let me know. I prefer fully evolved Pokemon, obviously, but if it's a Pokemon that could be viable with Eviolite, I'd consider that too. So just let me know in the comments if there's any Pokemon you want to see team built around, and hopefully enjoy my videos.